the things that I love, right? So I feel like if you want to deter criminals, you have to scare them from committing the crime. That's the only way to deter them, is to scare them. So the only way you scare them is by over punishing people who break the law. Now, in this case, we're going to talk about Antonio Brown, who the reports are coming out that Antonio Brown had acquired a fake vaccination card. And then Tampa Bay came out and said, all of our guys are vaccinated. And meanwhile, it could be that he had a fake one. Some reports are saying that, no, we checked him, it wasn't fake, whatever it is. There's going to be an investigation, I'm sure. My thing is, if Antonio Brown did use a fake ID to clear the whole thing in the preseason, or the fake vaccination card, then he should get a lifetime ban from the NFL.
Good Soup.
Oh my God, Wayne. What the hell is the matter with you, dude? You bring up skilled detail about something, then you go, and we've got all these details and these details and these details. Guillotine to the head. Take them out. Kill them. What the hell is the matter with you, man? No, you can make an impact on what you're saying. And we're talking about the NFL, where they probably, as we know, baby their superstars far more than the regular players. So all you need to do is give a regular what the rules say. You actually follow through in this situation, and you give what you feel that the ban would be under the situation. I mean, we've sat here for the last 2 weeks, week and a half, hearing more about Aaron Rodgers and more of the media uproar about that than we have a guy like Deshaun Watson in the current standard of that case and what's going on there. Like, that's been a bigger issue. So bring that standard into play here. And if you investigate it and you find that it's true, suspend him for the games that you would find would be right. None of this lifetime ban crap. Like, now you're skewing it to the other end. You prove that, hey, listen, we don't care if you're a superstar. We don't care if you're a practice squad player. This is the rule. This is the standard. This is what we're going to do if you did that. With that said, can I side road this for a second? Are we blown away that it's now, week 11? And this is the first case that we've heard of this. We heard about players during COVID, like Rob Gronkowski, doing all their weekly practice video sessions and just filming them all in one day in different outfits and then sending them all in as separate days. Have you guys seen your COVID vaccination? I don't know if you guys are vaccinated or not.
Yeah.
I'm going to get arrested. It was easy to get a fake ID, which is an actual state identification card, when I was 15 years old. This is a piece of cardboard. It's a small piece of paper with a little like, anyone can do this. I'm actually shocked it's taken this long for someone to get ousted for a fake COVID card. Because I guarantee you there's probably a good 20 to 30 players that were like, I don't want to do this. Hold up. Wait, that's all it is? It's a card with a scribble and a date twice? Like, yeah, I can get this done. I got the money for it. Like, to me, this will not be the first one we hear about, but a lifetime ban, Wayne. Like, do you just feel like, oh man, you stepped outside the line, cut your nuts off, and sorry, you ain't having sex with kids for the rest of your life ever again? Like, you go to some extremes, buddy.
Oh, I go wicked extreme. And this goes back to when I was even in high school. So when I took driver's ed in I think I was 17, and all of us had to do a report on something we looked up in the news or whatever. And I did a whole thing about in Ecuador, if you get pulled over for DUI, you blow, it's over the limit, right? They execute you on the side of the road. You don't even go to trial. And I said, we should implement that here in the United States. And a bunch of my classmates did not like that idea. But I was like, I've never...
Wayne, a bunch of the people in the United States of America that live in a democracy probably would not like that idea. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. But I love over punishment. I think over punishment is the best way to curtail crime.
Now, I do agree with your thought process of...
It's a great way to drive fear into making uprising.
Right.
That's about it.
Exactly. But if I'm not mistaken, it is not illegal to have a fake vaccine card, right? It happens all the time. Hell, there are kids in my son's school right now that I guarantee you they went to Ecuador and they got a fake vaccination card for their kid to come into school. It happens all the freaking time. But I'm not for sure if it's against the law. Now, I could be totally wrong, but the whole vaccine world, the whole COVID world, right? It is so unknown. It is so up in the air. And hell, they're fighting the mandates and all this other crap. So for him to have a fake vaccine card, the only reason why it would have come up besides his chef I think it was
Yeah, chef, yeah.
looking for his 15 minutes of like fame. The only time it would ever come up is if Antonio Brown was exposed to the COVID virus. Then let's say he wasn't vaccinated, and for whatever he spreads it to 15 other guys. I mean, like, yes, science and like all that kind of. I don't want to get into like that, but let's say he one of those 15 guys ended up getting, like, they die because of the whole COVID thing because Antonio Brown faked it. Then I could see something different happening. But just so we are basically pinning him to the wall here for an accusation that doesn't even matter. Like, what does it matter?
I said, for starters,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's a two-part question you're asking here, Buck. And so the first thing I'll say is this. I said right off the bat, if it's proved to be true, I'm not pinning him to the wall based on the accusation. If it's proved to be true. Secondly, my contention is this. Yes, it's not against the law. That doesn't mean it doesn't matter. Is it against the law to say, fuck you? No. But if you say fuck you to your boss, can you get your job back ever again? No. So, it doesn't have to be against the law to get punished for it.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a ton of people in construction right now that are just like, wait, that's against the rules? I can be fired for that?
yeah. But like my biggest thing is like this whole mandate, obviously the NFL is a private entity. They can implement any mandates that they want, right? Just because it is legal to smoke pot in California doesn't mean the NFL is going to allow you to smoke pot, right? So, like, I get that aspect of it, but a lifetime ban, absolutely ridiculous. Let's say at least maybe a 10-day suspension, because if you were to get COVID, that would be his quarantine process, right? It's the 10 days.
And I think I was about to bring up an example, and it almost would have given more credit to Wayne's point, which is when I worked for an employee out here in Oklahoma, and all of the weed elements, like what was legal, what wasn't, there's certain states that allowed it. We still had, people that worked with heavy machinery and were diesel mechanics that we said, it doesn't matter. You work with wrenches the size of, a 3-year-old child, and lift up, multi-ton vehicles up on these lifts. You can't be under the influence of weed. You have to be able to pass a drug test, period. Like, you got to be able to do that. If someone found a way to fake a drug test and falsified the drug test as a negative, and really they were at potentially as a positive, there's a good chance we'd probably fire them or not have them have their job back. The difference may be, though, in that situation is because of the state standards, though, in what is allowed, they wouldn't be marked as not rehirable. They probably just lose their job and have to put in for reinstatement after a certain period of time. So it's almost the same scenario. We've seen it with and the example I gave is the perfect Josh Gordon sentiment, right? If you're going to have a guy like Josh Gordon that you've given 4, 5, 6, how many opportunities does this guy continue to being given? How can you take then one situation with Antonio Brown where, okay, let's find out that he did really do it, that he got this cardboard card fake made and everything like that? No, it's against the rules. You're suspended until further notice. He's going to have to go through a similar process as someone like Josh Gordon to get reinstated.